Hello, it's TLB set review time.
Yeah.
We will go through each color and choose our top 5 commons.
Yeah, and the top 3 uncommons.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have some special mentioning also, but top 5 commons, top 3 uncommons, and it's focus on limited and this weekend's pre-release. So we will start with the color white, and then move on through each color and even gold cards and
artifacts.
Colorless.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start with white here. So we're starting with top 3 uncommons.
Yeah, and this is our number 3 on our list.
And we can say that, I mean, we don't know how the gameplay will be, so maybe number 3 will be is actually number 2 and so on, but that doesn't really matter. We're just choosing the cards we think look good. So this is like this is an 06 wall that makes a land into an elemental and puts 3 counters on it. So pretty much value for 3 mana.
Yeah, and I mean the 05 wall for 2 was super good in the Battle for Zendikar.
In the blue-white flying deck.
Yeah.
So maybe there's still a blue-white flying deck that wants to gum up the ground. The land creatures is also good together with all the awaken.
Yeah, and with Tidecaller, I mean,
if you get the Tidecaller or Noyandar and stuff, those cards are still around. So we guess that this could be a good card.
I mean, it's 3 power and 9 toughness for 3 mana.
The drawback is that the land is exposed to removal and so on, but that was the fact with the awaken cards too. So we think it looks pretty good, and we'll see how much of this land creature.
Yeah, and you are playing a lot of lands. You are playing 18 lands most of the times in these decks, so I don't see it being a big problem.
It could be, but the upside looks like it's there.
Yeah.
So this is number 3. So we're moving on to number 2.
Yeah, and number 2 is allied reinforcements, and we figure. I mean, you get what you see here. You get 4 power, 4 toughness for 4 mana.
Yeah, and it's spread over 2 bodies.
On 2 bodies, yeah.
So
I mean, that has been good in most.
Yeah, this is pretty similar to a card that cost 4, 1 blue and 3 colorless that put in 2 flyers.
Yeah.
And that card was bonkers.
Yeah.
It put in drakes.
Yep.
But this is still, I mean, it's allies too, so if you have ally synergies of some sort, it's still.
And we've seen that in this Oath, there's been a lot more allies than it was in the Battle for Zendikar.
Yeah, and it looks like black-white gets a lot of cards again.
Yeah.
So black-white allies with maybe some life theme could still be something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this card can never go wrong.
No.
It's not conditional or something. You get exactly what it says on the card.
Yeah.
So this is our number 2. And we're moving on to the number 1 uncommon. And this is one of White's premium removal cards. It takes everything and anything, but it has to be attacking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a big deal.
No, because if they are ahead and pressure you with like a 7/8 or something, you can still just destroy it for 2 mana and it's instant. So,
and I mean, this doesn't. You don't have to have it tapped or anything like the sheer drop in Battle for Zendikar. That wasn't super. I mean, this works
on sorcery.
Yeah,
this can be more like and this is something you have to keep in mind when you're playing against White as well. If they have 2 mana up,
and you're playing like a combat trick.
You might. I mean, it's uncommon, so they won't have a lot of them, but they could surely have 1.
Yeah.
And we also have on uncommon. We have 1 like borderline card that we can just show you, and then move on to the top 5 commons.
Yes. And that's this card, the Relief Captain. I mean, 4 mana for a 3/2 isn't super, but the upside is so great on this card. I mean,
if you have at least 2 creatures, it will put 5 power on the board.
Yeah.
And 4 toughness for 4 mana. And if you have the 3 creatures in an ally deck or something.
Yeah, this is an ally as well. So if you're playing the ally deck, you are playing a lot of small creatures.
Yeah, and I mean, you can be behind. You can have had your board swept away, and then it's a 3/2.
Yeah.
And that's why we have it on borderline, because it's a bit conditional. But in the happy case, I think this will be very strong.
Yeah.
So we're moving on now to top 5 commons.
And blue.
No, white first.
Okay.
The commons. Number 5, top white commons. We have this 2/2 for 2, and it's an alley.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's just a 2/2 for 2, but it can produce life gain for the black-white life gain deck.
yeah,
And it's also, I mean, 2 life is good in the blue-white flyers deck as well.
and 2/2 with some upside is usually good in the creature decks.
Yeah.
And it's an alley. And in Origins we had the Cleric of the Forward Order. It was a 2/2 for 2 that gained 2 life when it entered the battlefield.
Yeah.
And that actually...
And 4 life. And 6 life.
Yeah, if you had a lot of them. Yeah, but that was a really good card.
Yeah.
So we think this is good enough to be top 5 at least.
Yeah.
So we're moving on now to number...
Yeah, and here we have the Core Sky Climber, another ally. Like we said, most of the creatures are allies in this set. It's a 3/2 for 3 that's decent. I mean, it's okay stats. But the way you can give it flying, very cheap.
Yeah.
So
It can block flyers, it can fly over the 06 wall or something.
3 power in the air is good.
And the alley decks will probably play a 3/2 for 3 anyway.
Yeah.
So pretty solid alley creatures.
Yep.
Creature. So, number 3 on the list is also an alley.
Yeah.
It costs 3 mana, and this also has first strike when it's attacking. So it's an aggressive card, but it's the kind of card that if the aggressive alley deck is something, red-white wasn't super last time, and it might not be now either, but it's still a solid attacker.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a pretty good blocker as well. I mean, even though it doesn't have first strike.
Yeah, because it can still trade against like a random 4/3 or something, even though it dies itself.
Yep.
So moving on to number 2.
Mm. And this is just, I mean, it's a cheap instant spell that kills not everything,
but still a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, we have flyers 2/1 for 3, the Eldrazi Sky Spawner. We have a lot of 2/1s. We have some 3/1s in this set as well. So there's a lot of creatures you can kill.
3/1s, it's power, but it's still it kills all the 2/3s instead than 2/4s.
I meant 2/2. Yeah.
But it kills a lot of creatures. It's cheap. It's effective.
Yeah.
So
it kills the Bentec infiltrators. I mean,
yeah. It
deals with a lot of these creatures that we know from Battle of Zendikar were good.
Yeah, and we have seen a lot of creatures now that has 2 or less power.
Yeah.
As well. So it's good. Moving on to number 1, and this is just a super good removal spell. I mean, it's 4 mana for exile target creature. I mean, I don't know how good the enchantment part is.
You could exile an isolation zone to get something back.
Yeah, you can exile some sort of lockdown enchantment or whatever. But it's still 4 mana, exile an Eldrazi.
Yeah.
So it has to be number 1.
Yes.
And we also have a little
outsider.
Yeah, 2 outsiders, 1 common and 1 uncommon.
Yeah.
And we will look at them both. And this is the common.
Dazzling Reflection. I mean, this can be a super good combo trick.
Say that the opponent attacks with a 4/4. You have like a 3/3 and a 1/1.
Yeah.
He would have a 2 for 1 there.
Yeah.
You use 2 mana. You
gain 4 life.
Yeah,
and you kill his 4/4.
And your creatures remain.
Yeah.
So we're just thinking that this could have some upside. We don't know how good it will be.
No.
But it's still something to mention. And be aware of if someone else might be playing it.
Exactly.
So that was all for white.
When you're attacking with the 7/8 Eldrazi, that's actually a pretty good card.
Yeah, it can be something that can give you the
Break
next swing and turn something around.
Yeah.
So this was the video for white. Next in the playlist we will have blue.
Yes.
See you there.